You gave us the bragging right. It is 4 minutes gone past the hour of 9 on the AM side. It is the 25th day in the month of April 2024, and like Vic said, the month is already winding up to a close. So if you still have something that you want to achieve, I'd like to tell you that is not over until you win. Right now, let's get on to the winning ways, because today we would be having a conversation around some sort of initiative that the federal government is bringing to Nigerians right there. Some, coming in the light of palliatives on one end, and in the other end, it is also about enriching the lives of Nigerians. To also let you in on the fact that because it is a Thursday and because you're watching outside the shores of Nigeria, you get to see an audio-visual experience from this very station and platform via the YouTube channel at Eagles FM Abuja, as well as the Facebook page wall at Eagles FM Abuja. Do well to give us a liking and following on Facebook, as well as subscribe via the YouTube channel right there at Eagles FM Abuja. Spread the love across every other social media platform: TikTok, X, Instagram at Eagles FM Abuja. My name is Uduak Daniel, and yes, like I said earlier on, and collaborating that statement, we are looking at matters that concern some interventions here and there that the federal government is putting together, all in a bid to ensuring that each and every one of us are, well represented in the strides of getting us to the promised land. Well, so we were looking at the fact that Nigeria's economy revival taking positive strides forward. So that's what will be hinged on at this point in time. It also seems as though government initiative is sparking economic growth right there. There are some levels of supporting for businesses, manufacturers, and nutrition, even to foster a higher and brighter future for Nigerians. So can we say that this is great news for Nigerian businesses and families just yet? Well, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has started distributing a whopping 200 billion naira presidential conditional grant scheme, and this is in a bid to supporting manufacturers and businesses across Nigeria. Right? So this initiative is also aimed at cushioning the impact of recent economic reforms on businesses and families in the country. Let me also intimate you on some of the highlights, for these reforms. Disbursement of 200 billion naira grant scheme to support manufacturers and businesses is also going to be a phased, disbursement. So the strategy is a phased, one phase one, phase two, that kind of stuff, is a strategy that's adopted to ensure a smooth and transparent process. And the president had approved routing 20% of palliatives through religious organizations and traditional institutions. So is this a yay for some of the political observers and actors who believe that the religious circles and traditional centers should be the place, or the government should work with them in ensuring that they reach the grassroots with some of these intervention programs and all? Well, this might just be it for you. But then another highlight would be the high-level dialogue on nutrition emphases, on emphasizing prioritization of nutrition for Nigeria's food security drive. But then when we talk about these palliatives and intervention and all that, you might also want to consider the fact that the food prices have risen to 30%, in the past, 1 month, if I'm not mistaken. In the past 1 month, it is actually on the dailies, right? So if food has increased, to a whopping 30% in price, I'm talking about the pricing now, added to what it was before, and the food inflation is 40.10 rather, at this point in time. Do we think that this might just be the way to get get things done and to ensuring that Nigeria's food security drive is brought back to where it ought to be, whereby each and every one of us are able to afford, at least the basic, meal for the day. And lastly, and highlights that I think you might also want to consider is the fact that there is a supporting pledge by religious and traditional leaders to combat hunger and malnutrition. Right? I hear, people in the health system telling about, oh, you shouldn't eat these kinds of food. This is not about whether you are sick, you're ill or not, right? You hear about you should take veggies, a lot of vegetable, drink a lot of water, take certain meals, have your protein high, get good proteinous meal. In fact, some have even said that the rice that we consume at this time is cancerous, can be cancerous. All right, can be. I didn't say is, because of the washing off in the process of putting the rice together and all of that. I mean, all of these, in the midst of all of these, can we still say that these palliatives, what we really need? And as much as we want to give a thumbs up to it, can we still maintain some levels of nutrition in that regard? But what does this mean for us? I mean, if the palliatives are put together, if everything goes well, what does it really mean for you and I? It means that there's going to be some improved access to funding for businesses and manufacturers. And keep in mind that there's been that talk about the need for Nigeria to move away from being a consuming nation, to a producing nation, right? A manufacturing nation and all of that. And there has also been calls for the government to let off, some of the taxes for especially businesses that are still at their early stages, the MSMEs, the SMEs and all of that. That these initiatives should also foster and allow for such businesses to grow and also give gainful employment for those who are also lacking in job. And enhance economic growth and job creation is one of the things that it means for each and every one of us. It should also create support for nutrition and food security, as we have seen by the government saying that, well, if we are able to do this, bring this from the beginning, from start to finish, it might just impact the lives of Nigerians. The place of community participation cannot also be underemphasized, and the place of support through religious organizations and traditional institutions. However, there are some concerns, but before I bring the concerns into your eardrums, let me introduce our guest, who is in the person of engineer Chinedum Elekwachi. Engineer Chinedum Elekwachi is one who has added his voice to quite a number of issues that relating to the Nigerian development and growth, right? And he has also allowed for through the instrumentation of his analysis and voice, seen for the betterment of a more prosperous Nigeria. I mean, the truth is, what we have is, as a right, is the freedom of speech, and the speech we must use judiciously and not use arbitrarily. We must go straight and hit the matter on its head, and that's what Engineer Chinedum Elekwachi is all about. He's a public affairs analyst. Engineer Chinedum, welcome to Eagles New Outlook right here on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and welcome our guests. Our listeners.
That's right. Engineer, it feels good to hear your voice again. I mean, I trust you had a good day, good night's rest yesterday, yes?
Yes, right. The weather was clement.
All right, that's fine. Well, let's get into it very quickly, as I'm sure that our listener are also just juggling up on the sidelines, like Vicky Vic, the sports presenter, would say. Nigeria's economic revival has taken some positive strides forward. I mean, we've seen it from the place of the CBN governor's giant strides. We've seen it from the place of the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi. We've seen we've not seen quite a lot from the power minister right there, as there are still issues here and there, the places of selling off certain power plants here and there and all of that, just when we thought that privatization had already come to privatization on those had been made so that Nigerians can begin to gain the dividends of democracy and all of that, and the aftermath of what this privatization is all about. But then it seems as though the federal government is saying that they will be doing some selling off again within the power sector. But we've also seen some little, you might want to call it droplets of water kind of innovation, but I mean, droplets of water is what makes an ocean, right? So we should not undermine the days of little beginnings. But it seems as though the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment having commenced the 200 billion naira presidential conditional grant scheme, are in the move to seeing that it cushions the impact of recent economic reforms and businesses in the country, as well as the president has also approved a new initiative to route 20% of palliatives, including food interventions, through religious organizations, traditional institutions in Nigeria. And the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, had made this announcement during a high-level dialogue on nutrition in Abuja, emphasizing the importance of prioritizing nutrition as a part of Nigeria's food security drive. And the initiative is also aimed to improving nutrition across Nigeria, as well as garnering some support from religious and traditional leaders, who have also in turn said that they are going to do their best in ensuring that those who are under them would also feel the impact of these initiatives by the federal government. Well, I want you to tell us, what your concerns are. First of all, how do you feel about this entire process?
Thank you. Thank you once more for having me. But my own personal opinion is, let me commend the federal government firstly for thinking out of the measures to tackle the hunger in the country and the pains that Nigerian people are facing. I feel the plight of people today in this country, because people can no longer feed 2 times daily, self-stock more of 3 times. So people are passing through pains to survive because of the harsh economy and some of the uncomfortable government policies. So for the federal government...
Hello? Okay, are you there? All right, we will try to get back to him. It's just a network hassle right there. Are you there? Okay, all right.
Sorry for
no, it's
sorry
fine.
For that.
It's okay.
Sorry for that mix-up.
It's okay.
So for the federal government, they have taken measures to cushion the effect of the hunger and the challenges in the country. I think that is commendable. But we must be thinking on how impactful is that measure they have taken. So if we analyze the issue and the pros and the cons, you see that palliative is not actually a long-term measure to tackle hunger in the country. I used to say that palliative, to me, as a person, palliative to me is just a mere handout that is not sustainable, that cannot even last for a long time. Okay. Someone that is hungry, someone that has no food in his house, and you are giving him a 5 kg of rice. How many days will a 5 kg of rice last for somebody? And the person again will be thrown to the streets to be hungry. So palliatives to me is not a good measure to tackle the hunger in the country.
All right.
To cushion the effect of. So it's not a long-term measure, and I think the federal government and the people in charge of the leadership of the country should initiate measures. They should look more for good measures that can permanently cure the challenges of hunger, the challenges that shrinking the economy. Because if we have a competitive economy, there will not be reason for what you're experiencing. Right. So, overtly, what we operate is unproductive economy that is dependent on importation. You understand? So, if we can have a productive economy, a competitive economy, there will not be too much hunger in the land. How can you get the economy to be competitive? It's is by having much hands that have something they are producing or doing that is helping to the GDP growth of the economy and to keep the economy afloat. So with that, what I'm recommending or saying is that we don't actually need palliatives to cure hunger. What we need is the federal government should meaningfully empower Nigerian people. There are people that went to school, they don't have anything to start up a business. They have skills, they don't have any startup fund. The federal government should start by giving people zero-digit credit loan to start up a business. Meaningfully, be intentional about it, empower people. You throw them on skill acquisition on a particular skill, you empower them. You set up an agency that will monitor these people to see that they utilize that fund, not saying you're giving palliative, just like the fund they're distributing, the 200 billion. How many hands is it going to get to? Or from what I heard, that credit loan, that credit grant is about 50,000 per individual. What will 50,000 do for somebody? You will not start anything with 50,000. If they give you that money, you just use it and go and solve a immediate problem.
Right.
Maybe to buy food in your house, maybe to buy medication for your sick children. So this is not helping the situation. Rather, we are
I'm glad that
we are compounding the situation and giving room for more troubles and hunger.
I'm glad that you've mentioned certain issues in this regard, but I would also want us to at least look at the place of the transparency, accountability, and the execution, even in the process. I mean, some people will say better late than never, right? They say half bread is better than none, and all of that. Yeah, there are some concerns. I mean, one of such concerns is the delays and the complexities in the registration processes, right? How is this registration process going to go, right? These are the things, because over time we've seen many Nigerians who have gone through very tough circumstances just to register for your NIMC, to register for your national ID card, register for one process or the other. There's always a lining up, a queuing here and there. It's always that very hard process every time, and these might be some of the issues that might come up. Another concern is the place of transparency and fairness, right? In the selection and verification of applicants right there. How do we even know who it is? You made mention of that, though, as you gave that conversation. How do we know who it is? Because most of the time it is about the poorest of the poor, right? But many a time we've still not seen quite a number of Nigerians who have come out owning up and saying that, okay, I was a beneficiary of this process and it actually benefited me in some ways. And there is also the concern of effective monitoring, which you also mentioned, to ensure that these grants are not used for they are used rather for their intended purposes, because we've seen quite in recent times where these grants have been maybe given to those who in one way or the other have become beneficiaries, not using it for the right purposes, and then it just almost makes it seem as though the purpose was indeed defeated from the very start. And lastly, of course, the long-term impact on the overall economy. How do you sum all of these together just before we open the phone lines? Are they also your concerns?
Yes, my concern, but I'm no longer thinking of that because I know there will not be any departure for betterment. You understand?
So you're outrightly about
going by the antecedent of persons that have manned that various offices in the past.
Right.
And the people that is still in charge of that place are still Nigerians that have opportunity of coming to public office with the same mentality to come and mess with. So I don't think there is going to be any departure for positivity. But let me make this remark. Look, the people that is currently under EFCC investigation from the humanitarian affairs ministry, it's not about issue about this palliative of a thing. Because the process was shrouded with illegality and a whole lot of stuff. So this is something like this grant of a thing we are doing. I'll be privileged to hear people and some non-governmental organizations that have affiliation with the government, and they are giving them some quotas to go and bring numbers of people from their group for them to be provided with a grant. And that is the way it's going to go. So at the end of everything, you see that the people in the grassroots, who are these poorest of the poor, they will not even get wave of this fund that you're talking about. So the challenge there still runs around corruption, because the corruption which has become endemic in the system will not allow the right thing to be done unless they are ready to purge themselves. So for me, as I said earlier, the poorest of the poor will not get wind of this fund, and most unfortunately that this fund will not be used for what it's made for. So the government, just like the government are not being sincere to the people. If they are sincere to the people, they know the right thing to do.
Right.
Know the right thing to do. So
okay.
It's unfortunate to find ourselves in this situation as a country.
Let's put a peg to your thoughts now. Open the phone line so the Nigerians can be a part of the conversation. You can join the conversation right now as it stands. Add your voice to it. Let us know what you think about, some of these initiatives that the federal government is putting out there. The ministry, what ministry now? Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, about the 200 billion naira, disburse of a presidential conditional grant scheme, and of course the president also pledging the 20% of these kinds of palliatives to religious and traditional heads right there as a means to cushion the effect of the hardship that is going on in Nigeria. You are watching via the social media platforms where we have an audio-visual representation, talking about YouTube as well as Facebook page wall at Eagles FM Abuja. Do well to give us a subscription as well as give us a like and a follow. Number to call is 0907-353-0044. The other number is 0908-766-8888. And WhatsApp portal number is 0909-705-4450. Taking this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, good morning.
Mishala is calling from Tinkai.
All right, welcome aboard.
First and foremost, we have to distinguish before poverty. There are some that are very, very poor, poorest of the poorest.
Right.
And one of the stakeholders that participated in capturing vulnerable, poor and vulnerable in the community. And that time is a World Bank sponsor program. So he passed through many processes, and there is no way the end light can be there. But the register of that one is different from the register of the humanitarian and other government agencies. It is the state-owned register.
Okay.
And that register really captures poorest of the poorest. There are some villages we went, and when we get there, the care is coming from our eyes. Even we are even doling out money from our pocket to give to those people. But unfortunately, sometimes when this thing wants to happen, the implementer, they manipulate sometimes. During that time of fire, say there was a time he hold that register for almost a year when he stopped the program. That I'm going to confirm this register. So at the end of the day, he's able to confirm it, and he confirmed the register is very, very okay. He stopped the program for a year. The program did not continue. But when he finalized that the program, the register is okay, he's able to continue the implementing. But unfortunately, one thing is that some people that are not even in that position, they want to benefit from the palliative sometimes. I can see in the community when they say they are sharing rights and they are sharing a palliative, some people that are even in the position to give out palliative will be on the line for palliative. When you can even do it at your own level. So there are many issues. The corruption, those people that they can even give out, they are even queue for it, and many like that.
Right. Okay.
I even see those villagers we are talking about, they are the ones that are even screening themselves out because we call it CBT, community-based targeting. They are the ones targeting the poor and vulnerable in their midst. Some of them are saying, no, I don't belong to this one. You can contact this one. You can go to this one. You can go to this one.
So what do you think? What do you think is the bone? What do you think is the bone of contention? What do you think is the bone of contention so that we can get on to other calls?
Thank you. Hello.
Yes.
My own contention is that if it's not corruption did not enter, and manipulation will not enter, so that with the state is there for the state to be used.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much right there. Alrighty. Well, we're still taking your calls. We're still wanting to know what you think about these processes. I mean, especially when you come on the eaves of the fact that somewhere in Ebonyi State, right, the traders are counting their losses, right, as their shops have been demolished, houses have been demolished, and all of that. Yeah, and even though, because there's supposed to be a flyover, because the government is saying they want to build a flyover at the popular Ogoja Road and Vanco Junction, which led to the demolition and all of that. However, these traders and landlords that inhabit that area are lamenting bitterly over the level of damages and losses that they have incurred over the sudden demolition. And they are saying that they are stranded and they don't know what to do. Now, how do we indeed now say who is the poorest of the poor, who is vulnerable at a particular time, and who deserves, this disbursement grant from the federal government? Shouldn't this be a huge concern right there? Join the conversation, call the numbers, and we still have our guest who is joining us via phone call, and he's adding his voice to the conversation. Let's just take this call and then we'll get back to you, engineer. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, please, good morning.
Yeah, thanks for the good job you are doing.
Appreciate it.
Good morning to your guests. My name is Hundu. I'm calling from Nasarawa State.
All right, welcome aboard.
Yes, Mr. Oduak, you see, I listened to your guest, and he made mention of priorities being small, like just some little kg of rice, how long it will take a family. I don't have problem with that. Something that's given to you for free, you must appreciate it. It can reach to you, no matter how, even if it is one model of rice. But the challenge I have here is that those palliatives tends to make other people who still have money richer, because the people who have been saddled with the responsibility of giving all those palliatives, most of them are wicked people who do it. They are wicked people. They look for a way to siphon those palliatives, making sure they will not get to the right people who deserve it. Just like some time ago, some palliatives were being brought to my village for widows, and here comes this woman online, and the woman said, "No, your husband is still alive," but she said, "No, my husband is alive, but he's not providing anything for me." So me and this widow, there's no difference. So people began to feel for her. Your husband is alive, and you're coming to join queue for widows to collect, palliatives. And she told them the truth that the husband is not providing anything, and people have no choice than to allow her stay on the queue and collect a little she could collect. What is the message here? You see, if only the palliatives could get to the right people, it will go a long way, even if it will take just 24 hours. Because a man that is eating, that doesn't even have a place to stay, to be alive for the good things to come to his life. But even a man that stays in a mansion that has nothing to eat, he will die and leave that mansion.
Right.
And lastly, I want to say one thing, that with the economic challenges we're having, the president and the governor cannot afford to make us, to solve this problem on palliative. This is not going to work. Because even if you want to take it to the religious bodies, there are very corrupt people in the religious body of Christ. There are corrupt people when you go to the mosque too. But there are few people who are good. But how do you identify them?
Right.
Just like the former governor of CBN, he gave money that was meant for rice production to big men in Abuja who have
can you actually that might just be your views. You can't really say that because you don't even have proof in that regard, taking B. But every other thing that you've said indeed is one that is critical and should be looked into. But let's just put a breather now on the conversation. Take go pay some bills. We will be right back, and the discourse is still ongoing. Don't go away.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
My people, the thing where they happen for my area,
Do you think I will now find out that you have contract to bring fresh girls?
I brought you from the gutters. Who gave you all the connects? MDG who? Without me. you would have been nobody. But
Join Media Coalition and Awareness to Halt Human Trafficking, MICAT, on I Wish I Knew radio drama every Saturday at 10 a.m. Let us join hands and kick human trafficking out of our communities. I Wish I Knew radio drama, brought to you by MICAT in partnership with the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NATIP, and funded by the Embassy of Denmark in Nigeria.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Hi there. Do you want to know how to get the correct approval or documents for your land and property? Do you need the right information on how you can prevent your building from being demolished? Then tune in to Town Planning Program on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja every Thursday by 5 p.m.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. This is Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. We give you an audiovisual radio experience that you can count on anytime, any day. And yes, it is 35 minutes gone past the hour of 9. We're still talking the matters that concern some reforms that the federal government has put in place to ensuring that Nigeria's economy takes on the path of revival and positive strides forward. Our guest is still engineer Chinedum Lekwachi. Is a public affairs analyst, and he has indeed been given his 2 cents on what he thinks about this. And I'm also grateful to you for being a part of it, putting your calls through and all of that. Engineer, just before you drop your thoughts finally, let's just quickly hear from the Eagles listener.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, please.
Yes, I'm Mrs. George from Libby.
All right, welcome aboard. Is this your first time, though?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I actually want to give a solution. What I think is a permanent solution.
Right.
Let the federal government of Nigeria pay into every Nigerian's account a sum of 500,000 naira, and that is all.
Okay.
We don't need governor. We don't need any religious leader. My number is there. All they need to do is just to get our bank education number and then pay it directly. I will get an alert and I will know that this is from the federal government of Nigeria.
Right.
If they cannot give us 1 million, which I don't see anything wrong in giving us 1 million, because the billions that have been stealing is far more than what we can think of.
Right.
Give us 1 million. Every Nigerian seen alert. 1 million. What is the problem?
Okay. All right.
It's the problem. I don't passing through governor, passing through that. When we have, all of us have BVA numbers. And the account is just an alert. So what is it? Why are we looking for trouble when there is none?
All right.
I will see 1 million. Everybody will manage their 1 million.
Okay.
Palliative, federal government. During the COVID-19, America sent money to all the Americans twice without asking. It's not a grant. There's no grant anywhere. We're talking about people stealing billions and they're doing bargaining for it, returning some. This is very, in fact, the older generation, you can give us hope. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Well, she has gone out there saying, hey, why go through all the long cut when the shortcut is just right in front of you? The answer is right in front of you. Engineer, do you align with some of these thoughts?
Well, thank you. Let me start from the last person from the last commentator. Let me appreciate our mother or sister. I will just say that, look, government is not a for the Christmas. Government is not a for the Christmas that gives money arbitrarily. Money must be tied for a project. And for you to say that the federal government should just distribute 500,000 naira per day to the account of every Nigerians. So that is awesome, you understand? And you begin to imagine, where can we get that kind of amount of money from? That is not the situation. If government want to give that money for the sake of upliftment of people and taking people out of poverty, you understand?
Right.
You must put these persons into training. It's not everybody that has a business idea of what you will do with money when money comes to your hand. Will you give somebody money and the person will not use to go and solve his family problem? there must be mechanism in the place or agency of government that will monitor how that money is utilized, whether it's used for what it's meant for. You understand?
Right.
So that is what I'm saying. Money, government is not a Father Christmas. Money must, if you are giving out money for the sake of empowerment, it must be monitored, it must be followed up, so that money will be used for what it's made for. We need a productive economy. We need people that can contribute to the GDP growth of the country, and that can only come through the SMEs, operators, handlers. If you get them to work, if you get them to do things that will make the economy competitive, they will not be hungry in the country.
Right.
Because with that, a woman that is frying akra at the roadside, she will be able to make a living. People will come to patronize her. No matter, she just need a small amount of money to help her to be able to get a frying pan, possibly get a gas cooker that she'll be using to fry her akra. And somewhere at the roadside, somebody will monitor her and say that she use that money to do that. She is frying those akara. Somebody is coming to patronize her. She is making money, contributing in the growth of the country's economy. When we have stuff like this, at the news academies of Nigeria, that our people are doing one thing or the other to earn a living, not being redundant, waiting for free money, our economy will thrive. But if we have an economy that is stagnant, static like what we currently have, that means the economy will continue to witness challenges. Distributing, I don't support or encourage government giving money to people just for that without any mechanism to monitor the utilization of that fund. There must be a mechanism for the monitoring of the fund.
Yeah, so but there is a concern. There is a concern. I mean, when we talk about giving palliatives, whether you're training or putting people into training and all of that, even though we still have not been able to identify the ways for us to find out the poorest of the poor, the people who are deserving of these palliatives, indeed, because some would say that we do not even know our counts in the country in terms of census and all of that. But even if we say that, okay, some of these persons have been given certain funding or given training to be better off in the society and all of that, don't you think that there are other factors that might also just leave that person at the place of poverty still? Other factors that bother around the economy in itself, and other factors that bother around good roads, bad roads issues, other factors that bother around transportation cost here and there. I mean, don't you think so? I'm just saying. So you might just discover that it's leaving us where we are in the first place. It may not make so much meaning, in the long run. What do you think in that regard?
You see, your fears or concern are germane. You understand? They are germane. But let me say this: we just need to do the right thing. Just like a woman that is frying akara, she is frying akara within a vicinity, in a rural village. People coming to patronize people that is residents in that place. They're not coming from outside her village. So if her road network is bad, she will still make her sell.
Right. Okay.
A woman that is selling palm oil within a locality, and she is doing very well in selling that palm oil. People that will see patronize her are people within her locality. So you don't need people to come from other village or community to come and patronize her. So the bad road network probably will not affect her business, but it will. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that while we also need good infrastructure for businesses and economy to thrive, but the most important thing at this stage that you are talking about, this government cushioning the effect of hunger or sufferings in the country, is to get the right thing done by setting the right compass, not doing immediate, not doing what we call trying to buy time, because we don't have sincere government, and that is the difference between a transformational leader and a transitional leader. I could say that in Nigeria, what we have is transitional leaders. A transitional leaders will just give you what they want to give you, so that you can keep coming to them. You understand?
Well,
but a transformational leader will empower you to be independent. So that is the difference, and that is what you can, from that you can see that the leaders we have in this place, hopefully they are transitional leaders that want to subject people into penury, into slavery, and into poverty, so that they can continue coming back to them. Because our politics, from understanding we have, let me conclude.
Yeah, okay.
Our politics, poverty has become a very big weapon that we used to weaponize the masses. So that is what we see. So some share. Okay, go on.
Some share a concern that our outlook, our disposition towards problem solving is somewhat selective, and that we are not very, very vibrant when it comes to getting to the root cause on a matter. Do you also share that thought?
That is what I'll be saying. Okay. That's what I'll be saying. That is what I'll be saying from the beginning of this program. That's what they are doing to tackle the hunger or to cure the hunger. It's not a permanent solution. It's not a permanent solution. They're just trying to midwife the problem, and it is about to a bigger one. Just like when we found ourselves. Okay, we are talking about there is no actual head count in the country. Since 2016, there have not been census in the country, and you are planning on how to empower people. How do you identify the poorest of the poor? How do you identify them? So that alone is compounding the problem, because you're not sincere about leadership. If we have sincerity of leadership that has done the right thing, and we have data, because things like this, there must be data to prove this person is this. So that when you are taking these measures to the person, you know that it is going to the right person. Like this money now that has been set out for this thing, it will not get to the people it's supposed to get to. At the end of the whole exercise, you see that the people that are supposed to get this fund will not get it because we don't have good data system.
So do you mean to say that you are also throwing
and again, because of the favoritism among the people that is going to handle this fund? I just told you earlier that I know of a friend that is in charge of non-governmental organization, and because he has affiliation with the people in the federal government, they are giving him some slots to provide from his NGO that will benefit from this so-called grants. These persons, I know, they are average. They are not people that you should refer as the poorest of the poor. But they are going to get this fund at the detriment of the people that are supposed to get it. Okay, and how will poverty not keep compounding escalating in the country?
Don't you think that this is the reason for the NIMC, of course, coming out to saying that, hey, it's time that we have some sort of unification card, identity card, a 3-in-1 card that the NIMC is pushing for that will address certain issues regarding even social intervention and quite a number of things. Do you throw your weight in support of that particular initiative at the time, or you're saying that that is not a step in the right direction too as well?
It is a good one. But until that is done, we continue to. We are still here. Have they concluded the process? I think the answer is no. So until that is done, we continue to be here.
All right, a conversation is still trending right here. You can join the conversation. Call the studio number 0907-353-0044 or 0908-766-8888. WhatsApp portal number 0909-705-4450. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, please.
This is Mr. Joseph calling from Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Joseph, welcome aboard. Let's have your take in 1 minute or less.
About this palliative where you people are saying that government is to repair to people. What is the meaning of the palliative? For what? I don't understand. Great people think this and me, I don't understand that. So what I'm telling you is that okay, whether they deceive us, because if the one way they did me, I don't know, 7,000 and they say whether federal government dividing money to poor people. Every time they get to deceive us, they go carry and so they divide to family. I found that person will not reach to the poor. So we divide it to their families. We can't. We hear it only for ear, and we can't eat out by mouth. So this 20 long what let the deceive us. If government is sincere, let the come out and give the condition where they go take do it like this so that it will reach the people. And if they want to make Nigeria better for food and so on, then they can tackle that issue of haters killing farmers. And sometimes they talk to farmers and hater classes. There is no classes between farmers. Now haters killing farmers for their
All right.
Thank
Thank you so much right there. Well, engineer, you heard from the caller saying, also talking about the place of insincerity of the government. And for him, from the way he sounds right there, he's even asking the question of what is the palliative? For him the solution would be look, tackle the issues of insecurity already, and we might not be have a need to begin to talk about palliatives here and there. This is just a little bit of what I was able to gather from what he said. But just before you also add your voice in that regard, it seems as though the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved takeoff of 100 billion naira consumer credit for Nigerians. So the president is approving that commencement. It's called the Consumer Credit Scheme for Nigerians amid the escalating economic hardship in the country. And in fact, it goes on to saying through his spokesperson, media spokesperson in the person of Ajurin Galali, that this consumer service credit is serving as the lifeblood of modern economies, and that it will enable citizens enhance their quality of life by accessing goods and services upfront, paying responsibly over time, right? And that it also facilitates crucial purchases such as homes, vehicles, education and healthcare, and these are essential for ongoing stability and the pursuit of their aspirations, right? But in such an instance, he has also gone on to saying that individuals build credit histories through responsible repayment, unlocking more opportunities for a better life, and that this increased demand for goods and services also stimulates local industry and job creation. What you might just want to give a breeze through as to what you think in that regard, as you also give us your final thoughts on the entire conversation.
Well, the last caller is in agreement to what I'm saying. So there is nothing much to say about what his comment. So I commend him.
Okay.
And all these things and what you just read. I don't know. These people keep stressing the nation out. Yeah. They keep indulging on frivolities than doing the right thing. I don't know. People like me, I'm getting tired of talking because this is not what the country needs at this time. The past administration of President Buhari, do you know how much money they distributed? They were sharing money in the market in what they call traders' money. My brother, what is the impact of those money they shared in the economy today? Those things are not working. These things are not working.
So what's the way forward then, finally, in just 1 minute?
Let's stop deceiving ourselves. These things are not working. It's not working. Not working. The right thing to do is all these things are pointed out. Okay. Do you want this economy to work? If you want this economy to work, get us to be productive.
Okay.
Do you want this economy to work? Get this economy to be competitive.
All right.
How will you want an economy that is not producing anything to work? Economy that's redundant. People are ready and always happy to get free money. No, the economy is not going to work. Let's get the economy to be productive. We should get the economy to be competitive. By that, this economy will work. That is just the only way.
All right.
And
Thank
not by
you.
all these measures that I think is the best way for them to lose public funds.
All right, thank you so much, Engineer Chinedume Lekwachi. You've spoken succinctly, clearly. You're a public affairs analyst, and we hope to have more conversation with you in the coming days.
Thank you very much for having me. My pleasure.
Yeah. Well then, just before we call it wraps, let me quickly bring some of your messages right here to the fore. Good morning, Daniel. People deliberately don't allow palliatives get to the right persons. During COVID-19, governors held palliatives in warehouses. Are some palliatives sold out, even though written on it for free. Example, noodles meant for Benue State as palliative and boldly written for free found its way to Kano State where it was sold. Taking Bihundo right there. And this one right here says, good morning, sir. All these issues of palliative, where has it taken us? Has it ever helped the downtrodden? What a way of looting the treasury. God bless Nigeria. And let me see if I can bring this one in just before we call it, a final close. This one should be from Honorable. Okay, let's just see how we go with that. All right.
Good morning. I appreciate your guest. You see, if we're talking about palliatives, it is very simple. Will I make it things difficult for ourselves? Mr. President has a good agenda. He has been taking bold agenda, everything boldly. He said he will remove resources. He did it. Obi promise, Atiku promise, all of them that contested promise. He has removed. The problem is that what is the solution? Something that will not affect the Nigerians. Truly, we have seen money. But they have stopped manipulation and all those things. But the mistake is that money is going to governors, and our governors are not doing anything. That is our problem. Recently, we were talking about ID card. I think this guest, one of the guests that was taught that day, they introduced issue of having how many ID cards. We said no, ID card one can take care of any money that is coming from government, and that is all. Any money that comes from government, and outside that cannot come and claim to be, except you pass through due process, or you have been in this country for so years, according to the law. So what Nigerians need now, what we need now, not giving us a pin. Very good. If we are talking about student loan, it is okay. If someone is in the hospital and is critical, the government wants to do something about it, it's okay. Palliative is only when things like coronavirus, this resources that was removed, and so many things that are crucial to this country.
All right. Well, I would have loved to go on with you, but I cannot go any further. Time is already behind us. And I'd like to say a big thank you to each and every one of us for adding our voice. Tomorrow is yet another day. It's a Friday, of course, tomorrow. And we would have that conversation for the week. Hey, don't stop being politically inclined, because you are a political being. This is where we say it. Bye-bye. My name is Udwak Daniel.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
This is Eagles 102.3 News, your number one radio experience you can count on.